Here's my 1981 Naval Academy leadership textbook. And it says, leadership can be defined as directing the thoughts, plans, and actions of others so as to obtain and command their obedience, their confidence, their respect, and their loyal cooperation. Simply stated, leadership is the art of accomplishing the Navy's mission through people. Now, hopefully we're going to have a little bit of fun here. Hopefully you brought your phones, because I'm going to ask some questions and you're going to get a chance to text your answers in to the slide here. And the first question is, how would it feel to work in this environment? So what I want you to do is pair up, talk about it for a few seconds, and then go to this website and text up your answer. Right. I think this is right. This is how it feels. How do I know? Because I worked in that environment. It feels good for the leader. I walk around giving orders all day long. Do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, right? People are running around. An extension of my will. But it's terrible for the people. I mean, can we even do that? Can we even direct the thoughts, right? Can you do that? What do you think? Yeah, okay, all the married people answered the question. You can't. And yet, that was what we thought we were supposed to do. That's what was in my head. So for 15 years, that's the leader I was. And I was darn good at it. My dream was to be the captain of a nuclear-powered submarine. And sure enough, after 17 years in the Navy, there's a message that comes out and says, these are the captains for the next year. My name was on the list. Next to my name was the name of this submarine, the USS Olympia. Wonderful, technologically advanced warship. One nuclear reactor can stay submerged for 16 years. It makes its own oxygen, makes its own water. We have to come to the surface every 90 days just to get food. Has a crew of 135 sailors. We had all men. We now have women, which is, of course, an big evolutionary step forward, in my opinion. So for a year, the Navy took me out of school, and for 12 months, all I did was study this particular ship. I memorized the drawings of all the piping systems, the internals of the pumps, all the ratings of all the equipment, the electrical systems, where the breakers were, all the problems the ship had. Oh, I read the dossiers of all the people. I knew where they went to school, how many kids, where they married, how many kids they had. I knew everything. I was the smartest person on the planet for this submarine. I flew to Hawaii, and I was getting ready to take command. And then the plan changed. Next to the USS Olympia out there in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, there was another submarine, the USS Santa Fe. The Santa Fe was the Enron of submarines. The Santa Fe was the submarine that we laughed at and we giggled at and we snickered at during that year of training, because the Santa Fe just went from one bumbling thing to the next. Now, it wasn't like we melting down the reactor, but they would get to sea and they'd have to come into port because something would break, and they had the lowest retention in the fleet. They only re-enlisted 3 sailors. 35 had the opportunity to re-enlist. Only 3 decided, oh, I love the Navy, I want to sign up. I put her at the bottom of the fleet. Her inspection scores were at the bottom of the fleet. And I felt, it was kind of safe to laugh at them because I wasn't going to the Santa Fe. I was like, oh, those poor bastards on the Santa Fe. But the captain on the Santa Fe quit unexpectedly a year early, and the Navy said, Marquet, you're going to the Santa Fe. And I became the poor bastard going to the Santa Fe. And I literally thought my life was over. It wasn't the poor retention. It wasn't the poor performance. It was the fact that the Santa Fe is a different kind of submarine than the Olympia. The Santa Fe doesn't have sailplanes. The Santa Fe has bow planes. The Santa Fe has 12 Tomahawk missile tubes up here in the bow. The Olympia doesn't have. The Santa Fe has a different reactor. The Santa Fe is one of the newest ships in the fleet. Every piece of gear on the Santa Fe was different. So all that knowledge that I had, that was scary. Because in the Navy, the captain's the guy giving all the orders. Never mind. I'll get dressed up in my white uniform, take command. I'm ready to go. I take you down into the sonar room on board the Santa Fe. Now, first of all, cast out everything you've seen in the movies about submarines. We don't do any kind of ping, 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 ping. All we do is listen. We're really good listeners. And we convert the sound in the ocean to these lines, squiggly green lines is the technical term, and analyze them. And by listening to the line and pushing it through some analysis, we can say, oh, this sounds like a cruise ship. This might be an oil well. This sounds like a school of fish. And, ooh, this could be an enemy submarine. And it's kind of important to figure out which one is which. And these are the buttons, right? Now, on the Olympia, we got lots of buttons. On the Olympia, I could have reached over the shoulder of the sailor and say, oh, push this button. I knew every button on the ship. All I'd done for 12 months was study the ship. But on the Santa Fe, it was Greek to me. But I had this bad habit of still asking the sailor to say, hey, tell me about your equipment. Well, Captain, this does this, and this does this. And, of course, there was some button that I would say, what about this button? And the poor sailor, I don't know, Captain. And they would cringe because they expected the hammer to come down. Well, I'll tell you, and you really should know. Oh, yes, Captain, I'm screwed up here. That was leadership. And on the Santa Fe, I'm sitting there going, well, what do I do? Because I don't really know the answer either. I could pretend like I know the answer. But for some reason, I didn't do that. I just said, yeah, I don't know either. You're the captain. Well, let's press it and see what happens. Ah, crap, we attacked a Carnival cruise ship. No, that didn't happen. It was so scary revealing that the person, the captain who was supposed to know everything and give all the orders, didn't know all the answers. But I think now that for leaders to say, I don't know, it's very powerful because it makes it safe for other people to say, I don't know. People can stop guessing, especially if you're in a technical environment. You don't need to guess. You just say, I don't know. We'll go find out. So I realized the problem wasn't that I made a mistake in the order. The problem was that I was the one giving orders. The problem wasn't that I gave a bad order. The problem was I was the one giving orders. And this is a revolutionary concept. Because in general, we think, oh, the leader, the boss is the order giver. And if they make a mistake, oh, they just need to be smarter. They need to give better orders. Like the captain on the Costa Concordia, the Italian cruise ship, you guys remember this, where they ran aground. The captain was giving the orders. He was a great villain. He fell into the very first lifeboat. Could happen. And the press lit up on the fact that he gave a bad order. That totally missed the point. The question was, why was the captain the one giving the orders? My initial instinct was say, well, I need my team to be more empowered, more proactive, take more initiative. But remember, these guys have been beaten down because they've been making all these mistakes. And when they came to work, all they cared about was not screwing up. What's the best way not to screw up? Don't do anything, right? And for God's sakes, don't make any decisions. So it pushed the whole organization into this passive mode. So I realized I needed to change. It needed to be me. And the one thing I could do was say, I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to stop giving orders. I'm not going to tell you guys what to do anymore. So I want you to picture a submarine or a company or a cruise ship where the top person doesn't give any orders. This is the key to unlocking greatness, I now think, in humans. We think bad leaders give bad orders, good leaders give good orders, but great leaders actually don't give any orders at all. They don't have to because they've got a team, they structure their team, and they've got a team where people are taking action without having to be told. And this is the greatness, this is where greatness in human beings comes from. There is no Medal of Honor citation that starts with, after he or she was ordered, dot, 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 private first class, blank, 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 went out and... No. Greatness comes from people making a decision to do something great. So the degree to which you tell people what to do, you're suppressing any opportunity for greatness.